This is Iowa Backyard Farmers, and today we're going to be talking about seeds.
Seeds? So let's think about tomatoes. What is your favorite type of tomato?
Cherry tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes. Why do you love cherry tomatoes, Amanda?
Because they're easy to cut and put on tacos, and they're also nice just plain with some salt and pepper.
Do you have a favorite color of tomato?
Red.
Just red ones? Oh, I love red ones. There's so many different delicious tomatoes. So let's get ready and let's talk about tomatoes today. So that was kind of fun. Love having Amanda. She's our youngest and she really likes to help out in the garden and really wanted to be part of today's video. So she wanted to talk about tomatoes, so let's talk about tomatoes.
So here we are, and we have this enormous box of seeds and we've separated it in. We have how many varieties this year?
So we've got seeds for a whole lot, but in terms of what we're getting ready to sell, we narrowed it down to 71 different varieties of tomatoes. And every year I think, oh, that's too long, we're going to cut it down. And so we try to cut down things that maybe don't sell so well, or if they don't perform like we anticipate that they're going to perform, or if other people have issues with their performance, like splitting or stuff like that, then we'll take them out. But then we get requests for stuff like, oh, I wish we had tomatoes that had a higher lycopene content. And I thought, I've never looked into that. So we looked into that, and now we're adding some tomatoes that have higher lycopene content. And
some that are just for fun. Like, I saw this in a seed catalog and it looked great. Can we try it? So we're doing that too.
Yeah, anytime something shows up on the front page of a catalog, people are going to ask us if they can get it. So we did bring some of those in as well. But a lot of them that we brought in that are new this year are those that people had requested, and we tried them out. Many of them we were able to try out last year, and if it worked well in our garden, I thought, yeah, we can go ahead and offer those. So thought today we'd go through our list. Won't go into detail about all 71, but we will go into detail a little bit more about each of the newer ones so that you can learn a bit more about those.
So let's start with a category. Let's start with our little ones first. Like Amanda says, she likes those the best.
She really likes the little ones. And let's actually start with the littlest ones. So this year we had a request to bring in some currant tomatoes. And if you're thinking currant, I thought that was a fruit. Yeah, currant tomatoes are tiny, kind of like little currants are. And so we brought in white currant. And currant tomatoes, we've tried those before. They are delicious.
There's a problem though. There is a problem. The problem I find with currant tomatoes is, one, they're really too small to do anything with except for just eat them straight.
And we do sit and just eat them in the garden
because
they are really good.
And the other problem is that sometimes they have a thick skin, and when you have a very small tomato, the skin on the tomato is overwhelming. So why did we go with this variety? Well, I can cheat on the back.
So you can cheat on the back. The main reason we went with that one is just because it's known as the sweetest.
This probably
has
has the highest sugar content in it of just about anything we've got on our list today. So we're hopeful. We haven't tried it, but it's supposed to be garden candy, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, but we've tried them before. The main thing with currant tomatoes, I love the descriptions. They'll say, maybe self-seeding. What does that mean? Self-seeding means if you don't harvest them, they'll fall off, and then you'll get little baby tomato plants growing in that same place next year.
Which may not be a problem for you.
Which may not be a problem. We've had some that are really good like that. But just so you know, when you harvest them, if you don't want them to all fall on the ground, you kind of cut them by, was it the truss or the?
Yeah, a little cluster.
You cut the whole cluster off, then bring it in and then have them fall off in your bowl. Otherwise, you will be picking some of those up out in the garden if you don't want to have little tomatoes the next year.
This is
delicious, but they do have that issue.
It's a garden maintenance issue because you'll be out there in the garden and you'll be like, oh, that one's split or this one's not perfect, and so you leave it there and it falls on the ground. If you keep them cleaned up, you won't have any problem.
Yeah, but super delicious otherwise. Next one that we brought in, we tested this last year because we heard so many good comments, is black cherry. And my initial thought was, black cherry? I'm used to having sweet cherries, and then darker tomatoes have a more acidic type of flavor, generally speaking. But that's not the case with these black cherries. Black cherries are actually really sweet, and I was surprised how much I liked them.
I was surprised how much he liked them.
That became my favorite. There's several cherries that I've claimed as my favorite in the past, but this one,
he really liked it.
Really hit my taste buds. It's an heirloom, good vigorous plant, and I just really liked it. So brought that one in new this year as well.
And then a couple you've seen before is Chadwick Cherry's one we've had for a long time.
Yeah, so we
and we get it from a lot of different places. I actually have find seeds from this for a lot of places. This is another organic one that we have from. I think we got this one from Berkeley.
Yeah, so just a good classic red heirloom. It's always performed really well.
1-inch little cherries.
Just nice perfect size little cherries. One of the reasons, and we'll talk about this as it relates to the next one, my only issue with that is just the way that we grow our plants and kind of an upward trellised. Chadwick cherries think that they're aiming for the sun. And so ours will get 10 or 12 feet tall and can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, we had cherry tomatoes up, and we have like the little greenhouse thing top. And in October, we had cherry tomatoes, and they were clear up in the rafters of our greenhouse.
So that one will get tall. Good plant, delicious cherries. But if you don't want those that get super duper tall, that's why we brought in the next one.
Yeah, this next one is the Husky Cherry.
Yeah, Husky Cherry. So
and that's another red
one.
Put
that up so you can see the package there. So it's another red one. It's a nice, beautiful red one. But the key thing that I was really interested in for this one is it's considered a dwarf indeterminate. So indeterminate means it'll bear fruit all year long up to the point where the plant dies, usually from frost. But it's a dwarf, so it should only get 3 or 4 feet tall. So get the same amount of cherries as you would from a 10 or 12 foot tall plant. But from
the inner nodes will be shorter, so it won't be stem, and then keep going. That'll be more compact.
Yeah, so that one has gained a really good reputation. So really excited for that one. Looking forward to ones that I don't have to pull out the ladder to harvest that last couple days before the frost hits.
It's kind of fun too.
It is fun.
And then we have another new one. This is a midnight snack. Why did you pick midnight snack?
Midnight snack. So thinking of the black cherry earlier, this is another one that is a little different color. It's considered an indigo type, and so I've seen indigo, kind of the dark blue tomatoes
really
for a while, but they've not had a real good reputation for good flavor. And so I didn't want to bring in and have people experience an indigo type and then not like it. But this midnight snack is one of the first ones that they're saying, actually, this one tastes pretty good.
And it's really pretty.
It's really pretty. The coloration comes from the anthocyanin pigments, and so if that's a nutrient that or an antioxidant that you're wishing you could get more of, midnight snack is a good one to try.
What else we got?
Yeah, then the next couple are ones that we have grown for the last few years. Red Patio Choice. It's one of our good cherry tomatoes that works well in a pot. We've grown that the last couple of years, and tastes good. It is the right size for a pot. It does get up 24 to 30 inches tall. So if you're thinking just a little tiny hanging basket, it's probably too big for that. But for a nice size pot to put out on your deck or something, that's a really good one. Next one, Sparky XSL, and this is one that when we trialed, it was good all summer long. But when we got to the end of the season, we were shocked. We had turned off our water thinking we're done for the year.
Yeah, it was the last tomato standing.
And we came out.
With fruit. It was like still going.
It was still going strong 3 weeks after we turned the water off. And I'm familiar with the breeders of most of these. And so Sparky and a couple others that we'll cover, we know who the breeder is and kind of their emphasis. And one of their emphasis is to have plants that are going to be strong and healthy throughout the season. Taste really good.
And they're beautiful.
But beautiful, and the XSL means extra shelf life. And so some of these we'll bring them in, and if you don't eat them within just a few days,
they go soft and squishy.
They go soft and squishy.
Which is a problem when you get a whole bunch of tomatoes at a time. I kind of like them to last a week.
But Sparky will last a long time.
Yeah.
It
holds really well.
It holds really, really well. Next one on our cherry list is just Super Sweet 100, good classic red one. We've sold a lot of those, favorite of a lot of people. It can get kind of tall as well, but it is a really good.
And it produces really well.
Produces really well, so always been pleased with that one. Going down the list, Sunrise Bumblebee is another one that we've had.
That's my favorite. That's my
we
favorite.
started that on, I think, our very first year, and that's been one of our garden candy
that's
ones.
a garden candy one. I just eat that one just straight out of the garden. Pink swirls and yellow, and it's got a really nice flavor.
Yeah. And then similar to that is Sunsugar, and that one's really an orange cherry tomato. Really sweet, really good flavor.
Yeah.
It has a sister, what is it?
Sun
Gold, which we don't carry.
It splits.
Sun Gold is super delicious, but it splits. So every time it rains, you lose pretty much everything on the plant. So we don't have Sun Gold. We go with the Sunsugar because it doesn't split. But it's super sweet and very similar.
A new one this year, we added the yellow Patio Choice. So we've done the red one. The yellow one's actually, I think, an AAS winner. And we're excited to try that one to have a smaller yellow. It doesn't have a picture.
Well, let's to hold it up. So compared to the red Patio Choice, this one is a smaller one. Just so you can see the name on there. It's a smaller one, so that one you actually could get away with a hanging basket if you wanted to do that. But another option for putting in a container. And then we move to ones a little bit bigger, go to the grape size tomatoes. And
this is Brad's Atomic Grape, and check out the color on this one if you like a fun, colorful tomato. I find that some people really like this one. Some people, it's not their favorite, but if you like it, it will probably be your favorite.
Yeah, it has a really unique flavor. The first time I tried it, I was like, not sure I like that. And then I tried a different one, and I thought, I can see why people like that one. So, across all the people that I've talked to, they love the look of it, and half absolutely love the flavor. The other half are like, yeah, I'll pass. So for those who love it, this is a good one to try.
Hey, Fantastico is another new one we added this year. It's a mini plum determinant. What do you want to tell us about why we added Fantastico?
Well, so for those who like the little bit bigger, the little bit longer, grape style, we didn't have a determinate one. So determinate would keep it a smaller plant. And so we wanted to bring that in for that purpose, but part of its claim to fame is it has a Brix score of 12. And so
high.
in terms of sugar content and
lots of sugar,
garden candy, really good.
And it's an AAS winner too, which means it's been tested.
It's been well tested
to see if it performs in various conditions and places.
Yep, and it's also the earliest maturing of all of our small tomatoes. So if you want to get something really early to start snacking on, Fantastico is a good way to go.
And Juliet, another grape.
Yeah, Juliet's another grape. We've had that one for a couple of years. Just a good standard producer. Tastes really good.
It's
produces
delicious.
Really well.
It doesn't crack.
It doesn't crack. And so that one has been a good classic one for us. Another new one that we brought in this year is called Mountain Vineyard. And so Mountain Vineyard.
And this is the group. We have several mountain variety tomatoes. They kind of come as a group, right?
Yeah. So the Mountain series is developed in it's either I think North or South Carolina. I don't remember, but they're breeding for specific things. Typically, disease resistance is what they're most well known for. But this one is unique, and I did read up on some of the breeding history of this one. It's the first grape tomato with a lycopene gene. Or I'm sorry, the crimson gene, which gives it higher lycopene content. Really dark red color, about 50% more lycopene than the average tomato. So for those who are saying, hey, I really want something with a higher lycopene content and you want a grape one, this is a really good one to try. It's also a compact indeterminate, so
again, it'll instead of growing taller and taller, the internodes are going to be shorter together, so you're going to get a more compact plant, but it's going to keep going. And so it's not going to set all the fruit and be done. You're going to keep it going all season long.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Napa Grape was a grape that we've had on our list for several years. Really sweet, just a good classic grape that we'll continue to offer. Then another new one, Red Torch Hybrid.
Red Torch.
So Red Torch is made by the same breeder that does Sparky, And so they have...
And we carried another one of theirs last year that I really liked. What was it called?
So Prairie Fire.
Prairie Fire.
So this one is almost, I think it's a sister line to Prairie Fire. And Prairie Fire was really delicious and tasty. We really liked it. But it was one where pretty much every time it rained,
it cracked.
It cracked.
And that was frustrating.
And so it was frustrating for us. And I heard from others who had that same experience and kind of broke my heart, but I didn't want to keep offering Prairie Fire if it was going to split. But it seems like this red torch.
It's really pretty. It's a more elongated shape. It's got the red with the gold striping. Mm-hmm. It's really pretty. This one, I think, is this one the AAS winner?
So this one was the AAS winner.
So if you liked Blush or Prairie Fire, this is the one to try because it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be high yielding, but hopefully it's not going to split on us.
Yeah.
It's going to be
that's
reliable.
That's a little longer one, kind of like the Brad's Atomic Grape. So it's probably going to average 1.5 to 2 inches in length. So just a little bit bigger than some of these other ones.
They're so much fun.
Yeah. So moving on to the cocktail. So kind of I call it
going
a little bit bigger. To me, I think of the basically golf ball sized. So 1.5 inches. And one we've had the last couple of years, actually by the same breeder as Red Torch and Sparky. This one's called Apricot Zebra.
And you guys, you don't love this one as much as I love this one. We bought this one because we wanted to try the series, and we just kind of trialed it. And I did not know that I was going to love this tomato. It is so meaty for a small tomato. It's got these nice thick walls. We use it, and I dry it. I dry a lot of these, but they come in early. They come in a bunch, and they're just fabulous.
They produce well through the whole season. Unlike a lot of the other smaller ones, which have they're on the sweet side of tomatoes. This is more of the classic tomatoey one, yeah. And so for a dried tomato, for example,
really good.
we really like it. Another one that we brought in this year. This one is brand new to everybody, called Black Strawberry, and the initial claim to fame for this one is on the front cover, right?
It was on the cover
of Baker Creek's catalog, and so
everybody saw it and they're like, "What's that? What's that?" But what do we like about this one? Because we don't it's not just marketing here. You have to make a cut to be on the list.
Yeah. So again, it's another cocktail size one. This one. That's described as a perfect balance of sweet and tart with a hint of plum and grape.
So you get this
looking forward to that
kind of fruity flavor, and then I love the color description: blue, scarlet, and gold. And so you've got this really pretty. I'm a sucker for stripes and swirls and artistic tomatoes.
Another one of kind of that indigo category where it's got the higher anthocyanin.
Yep.
And if you're wondering what's the big deal about anthocyanins, if you've heard of the benefits of blueberries, the anthocyanins and blueberries, it's the same thing that we've got in these as well.
And I'm excited to try those. Okay.
Yep. Next one, this is another new one that we brought in this year called Health Kick. And don't let the name scare you away just because it may have a healthy claim to it. So Health Kick is a relatively new one. And its claim to fame is really its higher lycopene content. And the reviews and others we've talked to that have had it really like it. They say it makes a fantastic sauce.
Yeah, which would be my thing. Is like I want it to make a really good sauce, and this one says it does.
Yep. So looking forward to that one. And it is, it looks kind of like other plum tomatoes or kind of the Roma category of tomatoes, but it is
smaller.
Maybe on the small end. It would still fit well within that category, but these are just a little bit juicier. And so,
yes, a lot of your paste tomatoes are not great to eat straight because they're too dry. Too dry. This one is a nice mix there.
Yep. So moving on, Honey Delight is.
Oh, this is another one of my favorites.
When we think we should do a video on most appreciated tomatoes, and Honey Delight is one where. Unless you've tried it, you're like, it's a yellow tomato.
Oh, it's so
good.
But
it is
and it
really
doesn't
good.
Crack. It's just a nice size. It's a really pretty color. It fills out a box really nice.
And in any given year, this is probably our second tomato to start ripening. Sunsugar is usually the earliest one.
And it does get in the heat. And it doesn't, some of my tomatoes don't make it through the heat. This one
This one does. At the very end of the season, when we're pulling out plants, we are usually overwhelmed with honey delight. So it produces from the very, very beginning all the way through the very, very end.
And same with this next one, Mountain Magic.
Yeah, Mountain Magic is another one that
from that Mountain series.
From the Mountain series, it was our first attempt to move into that Campari category. And
you're like, I go to Sam's Club and I see these tomatoes and they're all on the vine in this little box and they're together. That's this one.
That's the one.
This is that one. You want that one.
And it's just always performed well.
Yeah,
really super delicious.
Really well. And it's not too big. If you're like, I don't need a tomato.
Yeah, a lot of us get into the mood of, well, if I'm going to grow a tomato, I'm going to grow a great big tomato. But the reality is I don't know that I'm ever going to sit down and just eat a 1 pound tomato by myself.
Well, I might.
But depends on the day.
Depends on the day. Yeah, and I like them. They're really nice. It's a good size. Yeah. And a new to us one, Tropical Sunset. It says it's orange and pink. What do you want to tell me about Tropical Sunset?
Tropical Sunset is also developed by the same breeder that did Red Torch and Sparky and Apricot Zebra. Just another really good looking one. It's a little different color than Apricot Zebra. It holds its storage life really well, kind of like Sparky does.
And again, this is a sucker for me because it's pretty. It's really, really pretty. It's all this colors and swirls. It won some trials.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how we fit this one in because it looks kind of like, what's the Bumblebee?
Sunrise Bumblebee.
Looks a little bit like Sunrise Bumblebee, but it's a little bit bigger and has quite a bit healthier plant. And so we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But in general, if you like Blush or Prairie Fire, this is one I'd like you to try.
It'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
Okay. What is next?
So
that's just the little one.
That's just the little one. Moving up to the paste tomatoes.
We're talking fast today.
The paste tomatoes, we didn't change a whole lot from this last year. Our trials. We'll talk what we did learn last year. Our trials that we had in our backyard. Somebody somewhere sprayed dicamba.
And dicamba is a killer. So and my parents, they did this to their own tomatoes. You might do this to your own self. That you're out there in the garden and you're like, I will spray the dandelions. And then call me later and be like, what happened? Don't spray dicamba around your tomatoes.
Yeah, or anywhere
or peppers
even close.
Or anything like that.
So a lot of them are the same. So Amish Paste, a good heirloom that is very popular. People that like them absolutely love them. It's a really good one.
It's good for fresh eating too. Again, like we talked, some of those paste ones are a little dry. Our Amish Paste is a good all around.
Yeah, and it's one of the bigger ones too. So if you don't want these littler ones, Amish Paste is a larger one that you can try. We've got two that are really similar, and we're trying to differentiate them. One's called Early Resilience, and the other one is called Plum Regal. Very similar. Their descriptions are pretty much the same. If you were looking to get a really big harvest, to can a bunch of sauce
all at once, because they're
all in a relatively short time period, those are the ones to go for. And so if we go to a you pick place, and there is one, I don't know, about half an hour from here, that's what they have, and they basically plant every week, and so they'll open up some rows, and you can go pick those. Plants are totally loaded. But you only have a few days to harvest them.
On making spaghetti, well, they last for a couple weeks. But if you're trying to make spaghetti sauce and also have a summer vacation, you might try a determinate.
Yeah. So those are a couple of good ones. Gladiator's one we've had for several years.
Which is really good. That's a really nice sized tomato. I really like that one.
Yeah. One that was our favorite this last year is called Granadero, and that one.
It was really productive. I was surprised. This one was really good.
Yeah, so this one is an indeterminate. It's a little bit smaller than Amish Paste, but it outproduced everything else that we had from the indeterminates, and so tastes good. We made a lot of sauce and stuff out of it, so that's going to be one that we're going to recommend to a lot of people this next year. Do we have the red? Or the Midnight Roma one in there?
This one we haven't tried, but we were really interested. Somebody shared these seeds with us.
Yeah, so Midnight Roma is a brand new one. It was developed, I think it's by Oregon State University. somewhere up in the Northwest, so don't quote me on the Oregon part. But it is one that was released to the public last April. We were fortunate enough to get some seeds. Somebody here in the local area actually bought some and then gave us the rest of their envelope. But we weren't able to get it planted this last year, so this will be our first year taking a good look at it as well. But it's essentially a Roma with the anthocyanins, just like the other indigo ones.
So it's going to be a little bit darker, and it'll be fun to see what it does.
So if you like to try things, we don't have a lot of seeds, so we'll see how many plants come up, and we'll offer those. But that will be a really unique one. Others on the list, so Roma VF is just our standard Roma. A lot of people will call or they'll email and say, "Oh, I want a Roma." I'm like, so there's the Roma, the variety.
Yeah, Roma VF, which is the classic.
And then and that one became so popular that they basically named the category after it. And so most of these are considered a Roma type, but we actually have the Roma, the original one, the category is named after.
Which is not the biggest one.
It's actually the smallest of all the ones that we have here. If you like smaller tomatoes to deal with, it's a fantastic one. Grows really well, very vigorous.
It's the heirloom from the 50s that, if you remember back then, that would be your Roma.
Yeah. San Marzano, another heirloom from Italy. Really good. Has a larger, 4 to 6 ounce, a larger type of paste tomato.
This is a famous paste tomato sauce. People claim and companies claim that they have made their sauce out of San Marzano. Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. You got to do your research.
Yeah. So then the next one is a new one. I don't know if we've got
Sunrise sauce.
Sunrise
we
sauce.
tried that one last year for us.
So Sunrise sauce was really interesting. So it is an orange. You can see the name up there. It is an orange Roma type of tomato. Now, what was really interesting for us, so last year said that we had some dicamba damage that come into our plot, and I can't remember, were we going on vacation or something? And so we basically said, well, if the plants are damaged that bad, let's just cut them off basically at the ground, haul off all the greenery, and not worry about it.
Yeah, we didn't want somebody to have to water it and worry about it while we were gone.
So,
but they came back.
These came back basically from the first node, just at the soil level, and produced an amazing crop of really, really tasty orange Roma tomatoes. So
it gets another shot.
Because
it wants to live. It wants to grow.
Yeah.
And they were delicious.
And but what it produced was all at one time, and so everything was ripe at the same time. We harvested everything, and then we were done. So if you want to can it or freeze it, not have to be stuck harvesting them every day. Are a good place to be. That one was a lot of fun. So
and then super sauce, which is our super. I think this is the biggest one, isn't it? Super sauce is the biggest Roma we've got. Do I have a picture of that one?
Yeah. So it's one where.
I think this is a burpee one.
Yeah. So it is. It gained quite a bit of notoriety amongst our growers. They first time we tried it, we thought, well, that's really neat. We really, really liked it, but we treated it like an indeterminate instead of a semi-determinate.
And I wasn't happy. So don't prune this one.
Yeah, so it's one that just does better if you let it go.
Or do like a weave or something. Just keep it up, but not.
Yeah, don't prune that one down. So that's what we've got for the paste tomatoes. A big variety, probably a bigger variety of paste tomato options than anywhere else you're going to find in the area.
We like our varieties.
Yeah. So moving to more of just the standard, kind of the slicer and some of the beefsteaks.
This is your nice medium round.
So
tomato
really
red
kind of that 4 to maybe 8 ounce ones, and we brought in some new ones here. First one up is Arkansas Traveler. If you've never heard of it, it is an heirloom from the Ozark Mountains.
It's extremely heat tolerant.
Very heat tolerant. It produces really well in the heat. It's a pink one. Really has a good, unique flavor.
Guys, try the pink tomatoes. Yeah. Everybody's like, I need a big red tomato. You're missing out. Try a different color. Pink is fabulous.
Yeah.
Pink is totally fabulous.
Again, Arkansas Traveler, another good one that is definitely worth a try. next one up, and this is one that we brought in last year, Berkeley's Tie Dye Pink tomato.
Again, with the swirls. And
the breeder of this one is different than all the others that we've talked about, and they really go for unique flavors and unique looks, and a lot of people really like them. Some
this
people.
This is a Brad Gates one.
Yeah, so Brad Gates is the breeder of that one, and
so he's done several of ours.
So he did Brad's Atomic Grape.
Yeah, Brad's Atomic Grape, same breeder.
And so frequently wins taste test competitions, and we enjoyed it. So
it's super fun. I like the artistic versions of tomatoes. They're really good. Okay, Better Bush. This is one we've done a lot. This one is the most compact one that we grow. So if you really are looking for a compact plant with a decent sized tomato, this is probably my favorite so far.
Yeah, and we've tested some others, and we'll talk about some of the others as well. And we're trying to decide, well, which of these is going to be the better one for us and for others. But
it tastes good, and it's really good for containers.
Yeah, it's been hard to beat. Next one up, and this is one where we watched a Johnny's webinar here just the last couple weeks, and they talked about, was it kind of like their unsung heroes of tomatoes?
And this is one of them.
And this was their number one unsung hero. It's called BHN 589.
And you think, it's not got a cool trendy name like Berkeley Tie Dye, but there's rules to when you label things. And so what happens to this one is that if you sell it before seed laws prohibit you from changing the specific variety name of a product after it's already been sold. So if somebody accidentally sells an experimental name, then you keep the
that name needs to stay with it. They can slap a brand name on top of it if they want, but that one has really stuck. And so that one we trialed last year, and we were pleasantly surprised. It's actually probably one of the top 2 or 3 market gardener tomatoes. So if you go and buy something at a farmer's market, there's a really good chance what you're getting is a BHN 589.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful colors. The plant stayed really healthy. It produced really well. It is probably not going to be your to die for heirloom flavor, but it is really good. It is really good.
Pretty good. So that one, and one of the nice things about that is, generally speaking, the further you get into the harvest, the smaller the tomatoes are going to be. And that one actually held the size really, really well throughout the entire season.
It was way more consistent. So that's a good...
And it's a semi-determinate, so it won't get overly tall, but you will get tomatoes throughout the bulk of the season.
And it's got all that the breeding for disease resistance and not cracking and not having green shoulders. I mean, it's a good package.
And we actually have that one in our plot right next to the next one up, which is Celebrity. And Celebrity is just a classic. People who love Celebrity will always ask for Celebrity. They basically fit the same category. It's a really good one, but put them right next to each other, and I was like, oh wow! If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with the BHN over the Celebrity. Based on our trials this last year.
Which is saying a lot, because the Celebrity is a really good, consistent tomato. Yep.
So next one up is the Goliath Early. Now there is a series out called the Goliath series, and we're looking at a few of them. The early one made it into our list this year. So early Goliath is its claim to fame is just it's early. It's a really good tomato. That for an 8-ounce tomato, it's actually earlier than Early Girl. It's earlier than New Girl.
And they're smaller tomatoes.
And those are smaller. So New Girl and Early Girl in that 4 to 6 ounce size. But Early Goliath is in the 8-ounce size, so quite a bit bigger, and it's even earlier.
And you're going to get some disease-resistant package with this that you don't get with some of the others.
Yep. So looking forward to that one. Next one up is Husky Red. So I think we talked about the Husky series.
Yeah, we
had Husky Cherry. So the key thing there is it's a dwarf indeterminate.
Yeah, so the shorter inner nodes.
Yeah, so the plant won't get huge, but it will produce all year long.
So the difference between this one and Better Bush. So Better Bush is still a determinate, which means it's got the shorter inner nodes. It's going to be a smaller plant, but it's kind of caps its productivity at a certain point. It'll grow and produce for a while, but it's not going to keep going forever. And the Husky Red one is a dwarf indeterminate, which means it's going to have those shorter inner nodes, but it's going to keep going, and so you'll get a longer harvest window.
Yep. So that one's going to be good. New Girl's one we've had for several years. It's historically been the earliest maturing, a little bit larger sized tomato.
But there's a lot of good ones in
but
competition.
We've got some real competition here, so we're going to have to see how New Girl and early Goliath
go head to head.
Go head to head.
You should see our garden, because every year I'm like, oh, we should just plant the ones that I want to make for spaghetti sauce, and I'm like, how could we leave out this one? And we end up planting some of everything. Okay.
And then kind of end up with our medium-sized ones.
This is Tappy's.
So Tappy's Heritage, and this is one not considered an heirloom, but some people individually will. It is just a good old-fashioned, has a good old-fashioned flavor, good old-fashioned, the perfect shape, decent disease resistance. It is an open pollinated one. It's been around for a while.
If you want to save seeds, you could do that with this
one. That
would
be a good one if you decide to save seeds to go forth with that one.
And just from the greenhouse standpoint, this one was a really vigorous grower for me. It did really well.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the mediums.
So those are the mediums. So kind of moving up to our large-sized tomatoes. And a lot of these are ones you're familiar with. We did bring in a few new ones based on some requests. And so as you're pulling those out, our first one up is Big Beef. And Big Beef is the most commonly sold tomato in America. It's actually one of our favorites. It's just a good all-around red. It was bred by the same breeder as that bred Celebrity. And so
they're very consistent. So when I'm potting them up, when I'm trellising them, they are like little clones of each other. I'm like, I can prune them really fast. I can string them up really fast. They set fruit just about the same time, about the same amount. I mean, they're really easy to work with, and they always work.
They've always worked, and they're a good flavor too.
And they're a really good flavor.
And so there's a reason why it's one of the
more popular ones.
Yeah. So next one there is Big Boy. So Big Boy has been Burpee's best-selling. Been around for like 60 years.
Yeah, you probably have already grown this one.
And it's just really common, good tasting. It is. It's kind of the parent line to several. If you hear of any of the other big, so Big Daddy's coming up. Big Boy is the parent line of that. Better Boy is also a child of Big Boy.
So really good genetics here. And I think this one, the Big Boy, for a long time had like the highest yield record for a while.
So it did for a while. We've got some others that have held it since then as well.
But this one is a really good producer.
So next one up is Big Daddy. So this is one that we just brought in. Several people asked about this last year. We did not have Big Daddy in our lineup last year, but it is also a descendant of Big Boy.
And you're going to get some better disease resistance with the children.
Yep. So claims to have the same flavor that everybody really liked, but improved disease resistance and yield and a little bit more consistency. Mm-hmm. So people have asked, so we brought that one in. Next one up is Bush Goliath. So everything on the large so far have been indeterminate. This is our attempt to really expand out kind of those bush tomatoes.
We had the Better Bush, which is that really, really compact one, and then we had the early Goliath. Is it the early Goliath?
Yeah, early Goliath. Well, let's see. Early Goliath is an indeterminate. Husky Red is the other.
Husky Red is the other one. That's a little bit, but this is even a bigger tomato. So this is going to be that same compact tomato plant, but with an even bigger tomato.
Yep. So. Looking forward to that one.
And
again,
part of that. Didn't this one win awards?
So I don't have that one.
Okay.
Didn't describe that as such, but very well could have. Really early. So for the larger tomato size, most of them are 75, 78 days to you get your first tomato. This one's 68, so it is definitely an earlier one.
Which is nice if you're just waiting and waiting. You're like, I planted my garden early, and I want a tomato now.
That's a good one to go for. Next one up, Caspian Pink, and so
again with the pinks, you guys. Live a little.
So Caspian Pink is one that we have wondered about, thought about, and finally we've actually added a page to our sale sheet so that we can put it in.
The pinks, they come and go on my sheet on my seat, and it's not because they're not awesome. It's because I can't get enough people to try them.
Yeah, it's a lot of people think, oh, it's pink, it can't be that good. Actually, I'll take a pink tomato over a red tomato pretty much any day of the week.
9 out of 10
They're
times
just that much better tasting. So the Caspian one is considered an heirloom. That's one of the few that we feel is made the cut.
Because we talked about this in our last video about tomatoes, that you should not be scared of some of these newer tomatoes. There's some great breeders out there doing some really neat things. It's not hairy, scary GMO stuff. You don't have to worry about it. Nothing that we've bought, nothing that we're talking about has any GMO-ness about it. Some of them are hybrid. That just means we picked the parents. Somebody picked the parents and crossed them on purpose. And some of them are open pollinated. And that means they'll breed true to type if you plant those seeds. And some of those are really good, and some of those are really bad on both sides. And so Stephen does really good due diligence. This is actually part of your day job, to sort out what is worthy to sale and what is not worth the money. And some of these open pollinated ones are really fantastic, and Caspian Pink is one.
Yeah, so the story on that one is it was brought over from Russia right after the Cold War ended, and it just really gained some good popularity. Brandywine is the standard heirloom that everybody wants to compare the flavor to. This one frequently beats Brandywine in taste tests, so if you like Brandywine,
you want that old-fashioned flavor, Caspian Pink.
Pick this one up as well. Yep. Next one, so kind of moving back to a newer version, we've got Galahad.
And people like this. We sell a lot of this one.
Yeah, so Galahad is a determinate, so it's a smaller plant size. It is earlier than a lot of these others in terms of maturity.
But it's a good beefsteak, and it's going to be
it's
a good performer.
Yeah, and we put that one up against the Celebrity and the BHN.
And
also Mountain Fresh Plus.
Made a nice bed of tomatoes.
They all worked really well.
Yeah.
Next one up, and this is moving back towards more of an heirloom type. Hungarian Heart is just those who like it, love it, and won't move to anything else. And we've tried to replace it, and we've not been able to come up with anything else that even comes close.
Because this is one of the few Oxheart tomatoes that we have, and those Oxheart tomatoes, they are big, they are meaty. There's not a lot of seeds, but they're juicy. I mean, you can slice this and eat it. You can make fabulous sauce with this.
The flavor thing about the Oxheart tomatoes in general, and this one in particular, is they have really wispy.
They are a pain
almost,
in my greenhouse.
Almost kind of sad-looking leaves. And so when you look at the plant, you think, that doesn't look very good. But it's
put all the energy into this fruit. Is what it has done. And so you kind of have to baby the plant along a little bit.
I mean, it grows just fine. But if you're used to these big, vigorous-looking vines, that's not it. We did try it once on a single-stem leader system in our greenhouse, and it gave us like 4 tomatoes was all.
And
so
they were perfect.
They were beautiful tomatoes, but it was like 4. And so when we planted it out in a more garden type of situation where you just have cages, it produces just fine.
It does.
But it's not one you would want to stick in a greenhouse where you've got a lot of pruning going on.
Yeah. And similar to that would be Italian Heirloom, which is, again, I like this one. It's also an Oxheart. It's got a kind of unusual shape to it. I can't hardly tell them apart when I've got them after I pick them and bring them in. I think this has more of a tangy flavor to it than the Hungarian Heart. I think it has just a little bit more of that tomato tang.
Yeah. So, but another really good heirloom that once people try it, they usually ask for it year after year.
Because there's no seeds and peeling it is easy. I mean, it's a nice tomato.
Yep. And then to round out for the large size, we've got Mountain Fresh Plus, another of the Mountain series, so Mountain Magic, developed by the same breeder.
Mountain Rouge.
Rouge we'll see in just a few minutes. So this is it's a determinate one, and so again the plants won't get super huge, but nice 10 to 14 ounce sized tomatoes.
Really, really beautiful. They've solved a lot of your problems with cracking and some of those things that on those heirlooms are a problem.
Yeah, so the only...
This would be like, what is this one?
So we tried to determine, well, do we keep both Galahad and Mountain Fresh Plus? And one of the things about Mountain Fresh Plus is if we end up with a really cool summer,
this one will outperform.
This one outperform everything else. If we end up with a really hot summer, some of the others may perform a little bit better. Just like, you know, we garden like you would keep a stock portfolio where you want to try different things because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And Mountain Fresh Plus is one where, if you have those years where you just have a little bit cooler portion of a season, this one will shine above everything else. So that's it for the large. So now let's move
those
to...
Those are just the 1 pound ones.
Yeah, so like 12 ounces to 16 ounces. And then separated out those that are typically go more than a pound. And
these are the super jumbo variety.
Yes. and a lot of these we've seen before. Beefmaster we've had before.
Last year. It's a really pretty tomato. And it's not, because a lot of people, they're like, well, I want like this old-fashioned look to it. You know, I want it to be low-y and not just a perfect round sphere like you would get in the grocery store. And Beefmaster kind of has that more low-y look, but it's not hard to work with.
No, really good flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Had several people ask for that one by name, and so glad that we get to continue with that one. Next one up on that extra large size or very large size is Better Boy.
So what's the difference between Big Boy and Better Boy?
So Better Boy is a child, if you look at the plant pedigree of Big Boy. So Better Boy is the one that holds the record for yielding 342 pounds of tomatoes from one plant.
On one plant. Good yield.
And so similar flavor, just a little improved performance and disease resistance and all that compared to
tomato.
And a little bit bigger. Then
Big League is new.
Big League. So this is a new one. So last year on our video had commented that it was really hard to find a really big determinate tomato.
Yeah, so for everybody who's like, I want a pot, we have now the little cherries to this one. This one is the Big League, which is a determinant, but it's more than a pound, I think.
Yeah, so frequently gives you red tomatoes that are bigger than a pound. So if you want a really big tomato and
not a really big plant.
Not a really big plant. Big League is where we're going to this year. Many of the rest of these we've seen before. Brandywine, just the classic heirloom. Everybody references their flavor compared to that one.
And Brandywine is fabulous flavor, but if you have not grown tomatoes or you want a carefree garden, this is not the tomato for you. This is one of my picky ones. It does not have a lot of good disease resistance. When it produces really well, but it doesn't always. So this is maybe comes with a caveat of you've got to commit to more care for this one.
Yeah, and that's the case with a lot of the heirlooms, though. So,
but that one in particular,
is kind of a challenging one, but certainly is delicious.
It is delicious.
Speaking of delicious, we have a variety called Delicious, and this is one we've offered for a lot of years. It's a former world record holder for having a 7-pound tomato come off of one of these, and
which is big.
Which is really big.
But generally, they're like 1 to 2 pounds. They're not too overwhelming.
Yeah. So, but that one has been a good one. Mortgage Lifter is another famous heirloom. Has a great story about somebody who
paid off their mortgage.
Basically, paid off their mortgage in 6 years by selling the plants for $1 a piece. Mountain Rouge is next. So another one of these Mountain series, and Mountain Rouge is one that we really like, but we're it seems like we're struggling to get everybody to want to try it. So Mountain Rouge is basically an improved Brandywine.
Yeah. So all those things that I said about Brandywine, that it was tricky with disease, that it tends to split, that that has these problems, Mountain Rouge is trying to solve those problems and keep that flavor.
Keep the flavor.
And the Mountain series, that's kind of their goal.
And we've really liked it, but
and it's
generally
a way more vigorous plant. I grew this one last year, and I was like, nobody bought this one. This was really good.
Yeah, but generally, Yeah, if you like Brandywine but don't want to deal with the headaches of having an old heirloom with, lower disease resistance, give Mountain Rouge a try.
Yeah.
And then
Super Beefsteak.
Super Beefsteak. So this is kind of an interesting one. This comes as super duper highly rated. It is an open pollinated, so if you ever wanted to save seeds, this is the way I would describe this one is if the end of the world was coming and we could only eat what we could grow. This is probably one of the ones that I would put the most of my efforts into.
Saving seeds for this one.
Because you can save the seeds for it, and it's just a really good, consistent producer. Always been really happy with it.
Nice big red fruit.
It's pretty similar to Big Beef, but usually a little bit bigger fruit.
It comes a little later, but
It
it's
is
a little bigger
later.
too.
But anyway, it's been a really good one. And then to wrap up our big red tomatoes with Wood's famous Brimmer, another heirloom, once dubbed the world's greatest tomato, and a lot of people really like that one.
I like this one too. Do you have anything else to say about that one? It makes a really good BLT.
It's pink.
It's
so don't let that scare you away. But a lot of the heirlooms are a pink one.
Yes.
So
go for the pink.
So then let's move on to some of our colored tomatoes, and hopefully pink doesn't scare you away. But if you've never tried a yellow or orange tomato, you are missing out.
You are.
Every year we really struggle to narrow down our orange and yellow list because there's so many.
Because this is where I'm picking, if I'm making a fresh salsa or if I'm making a BLT, I'm grabbing some of these because the flavor is so fantastic on a lot of these. Starting off with kind of a small one, we've got Lemon Boy. This is a smaller, it's a bright yellow one. Looks really bright yellow lemon colored. It's very, is it related to Big Boy? I think it's in that same.
I think it's a yellow version of Big Boy.
Yeah. And so it's really consistent. It's nice and round. It's easy to work with.
Yeah, and so we move from that smaller, really consistent to an amazing heirloom. This one's funny because if you talk to different people, they'll give you a different pronunciation. We call it Dr. Wyche's, but
Dr. Wyche.
Others are Dr. Wyche. Some say Dr. Wyche's, but I think Wyche is correct. That's what we'll use. Anyway, so that one is an heirloom that's kind of a tangerine colored. That if you've ever tried it, they are super delicious. Kind of a tropical fruity flavor, but pretty big, about
and
1
meaty,
pound.
And meaty.
And really meaty.
I like it.
Always been really pleased with that one. It is not drastically different than another, and we've always struggled to determine, well, do we only grow one of these two? And the answer is no, we'll grow them both because they're really delicious.
This one's a lighter color. It's more yellow than tangerine. And it's got it's I think a bigger tomato, but it's more loby, and so it'll have a slightly bigger core to it. But the flavor is fantastic.
Yeah, so Kellogg's breakfast flavor is just really, really hard to beat. And then moving in, and this one is...
This is going to be a newer variety.
Yeah, so Chef's Choice Orange. And
who breeds these?
Well, we've got a bunch of different choice ones, and they're all by the same company or the same breeder. The thing with Chef's Choice Orange is, thinking back to the Dr. Wyche and the Kellogg's Breakfast, there was another one kind of in that same category as an heirloom called Manna Orange.
Which I loved.
Which we absolutely loved. But the thing with the Manna Orange is it was the last one to produce tomatoes.
And it was worth waiting for.
They were worth
so
it,
good.
but they took forever. So Chef's Choice Orange has taken a Manna Orange and made it earlier and given it some more disease resistance.
Which doesn't hurt, but
the flavor,
early is my favorite part.
But much earlier, and so basically 2 weeks earlier than the old Manna Orange.
Yeah. And this one's a hybrid. This is Orange Slice Hybrid, which is a superb producer, and it is a lot of fun to eat. It's a bright orange color. It's really nice and juicy. It's a good slicer, and I really like this one.
Yep, and it's similar. We every year we try to decide, well, do we do orange slice or do orange Wellington? And the answer is yes.
And I think orange slice is going to be more like your big beef. It's going to be more of a big beef texture where you have the seeds and the gel, and it'll be sliced more like that. Orange Wellington is going to be, by comparison, way meatier. it's gonna be way meatier, but it's gonna be also very orange. And between this one and the Dr. Wyche,
yeah.
those are the ones.
Those are really, really good.
Those are really good.
They're
all good.
Yeah, they're all
you
good.
You cannot lose with that one.
But we struggle to try to keep our list of orange ones down because not everybody wants to try an orange one, which is really sad. I wish everybody would. We should have taste tests out here.
We should have taste tests.
And then we
surprised.
we wouldn't be able to keep the orange ones in stock. But moving to a different color, green tomatoes, and I don't mean just picked immaturely, but we've got a couple of green tomatoes where they actually ripen green that are really surprisingly
this is another
tasty.
one. You need to do a taste test blindfolded and love a green tomato because everybody eats with their eyes and you're like, oh, that's gonna taste weird, but they're so sweet. They're so sweet. They're so good.
Yeah.
And this one is new on our list, but not new in the world. And then this one we have had a couple times, Emerald Evergreen, and you really liked this one.
I was surprised. I had thought, I'm not sure I'll like a green tomato, but close your eyes just to try to get past the fact that it's green, and it was a really good flavor. The downside of that one is we can't buy the seeds anymore. So once we sell out this year, unless we save them, I don't know if we'll be able to get that one anymore. So that's why we brought in the Aunt Rubies, just because it's another
very popular.
Another very popular.
But
one.
It's a nice big. It's not a little tomato. It's a nice big tomato. Black Crim is a classic.
Yeah, so Black Crim is one where if you've tasted it and you like it, you always ask for it by name. We have a lot of repeat customers asking for that one. That one came from the Crimean Peninsula, but
it's really and it's a pretty early one to mature, and it probably wins the prize for me from the greenhouse because I'm the one in the greenhouse planting everything. It is a vigorous, solid plant. I mean, it puts on a stem like this, and it's just like from here. Yeah. It's a really good plant.
Yep. So it's a wonderful heirloom. Got 2 more heirlooms to go here. Purple Cherokee is another one,
which is also another nice, vigorous plant. These two in my greenhouse, I'm like, oh, you guys are doing so good.
Yeah. So. Some people will put that one up against Brandywine for flavor. Mm-hmm. It's just a really, really good one. Very well known. A little bit of a
smoky flavor with a lot of the black tomatoes. They have kind of this cool undertone. Speaking of really good flavor, the Paul Robeson is a lot of people's very favorite. It is a sweet and smoky flavor, and I love that it ripens. So like the Black Crim and the Purple Cherokee, they tend to have some green shouldering when they ripen, and the Paul Robeson does not have that same problem. It is more uniform with the green. The flavor on all 3 of them is fantastic, but this one does lose the green better.
Yep. So just all of them are amazing. So I think we made it through all. What was it, 71?
Yeah,
we got it narrowed down
and you did not see the ones that we did not do. So this is actually for us a triumph that we have winnowed it down to 70 some tomatoes.
There's still some that we'll be trialing.
Yeah,
that we wanted to make sure that we had a really good experience with before we put it on our list.
Yeah, so none of these ones, even when I complained about them, none of the ones on our list are a bad pick. You cannot. I mean, I think that all of them have a really good disease resistance or flavor or some attribute that you will really enjoy. So be adventurous and try something new.
Yeah. So that covers it for tomatoes. We'll do a pepper video here in the near future as well and get that one posted. But if you like this, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that kind of stuff. Put in your comments, what is your favorite tomato? And if you have any questions, post those as well, and we will get you, an answer to you as soon as we can. So with that, thank you, and hope you guys have a good day.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.